living the life.
Now it's time to introduce our first guest. Now, Orphans in Need India have been working extensively with orphans, and they have been working on a very special project. They created a village for orphans, from building the accommodation to providing the facilities. Orphans in Need India, where they, from start to finish, or this was in India, rather, where they went from start to finish. The orphans will be in a supported living environment and will live a happy life that they truly deserve. Here to tell us more, please welcome Mr. Saqib Khan and Muhammad Saeed. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah, thanks for joining us on the show. Brother Saqib, let's start with yourself, right?
Yes,
this sounds like an extraordinary project. You've built an actual village for orphans in India.
Yeah.
How many orphans are going to be in this village?
Well, the capacity total is about 300 to 350 children.
Wow.
But at the moment, we have only a few children because we are going into phases to fill it up.
Fantastic. And just tell us, when we say an orphan's village, what does that entail? Because obviously, I'm assuming it's not just the children have been left to their own devices in the village.
No,
They'll have relatives with them or in some form of capacity, right?
Actually, it's a complex, I should say, and if I could tell you the size of the village, it's spread over to 3 acres of land. That is about 1,500 square yards.
Wow.
It's big, and we have created a living capacity for 350 children, as I said, and the covered area, if you see, is about 70,000 square feet, and 22 independent buildings, and each house will be having 12 to 14 children. So it's an entire complex village having every facility. Like when we are in the village, we don't have sewerage, so we have created our own sewerage system. We are in the village, we don't have water supply, so we have created our own water supply.
Fantastic.
Filter water for the children. And we don't have the electricity 24 hours, so we have taken an exclusive line to get the electricity for 22 hours a day, and for the rest of the 2 hours, we create a facility like backup for the village. So it's an exclusive village, I should say, and even I was not knowing that it's going to be that exclusive when we started, actually.
That's fantastic. I mean, it sounds like an extraordinary facility.
Very extraordinary, very extraordinary.
And it's something that's really one of the kind. Let's ask you, Brother Saeed, you're with us as well, right?
Yep.
I mean, tell us about the kind of where this concept came from, where the idea behind this came from as well, because it is very unique and it's something, I mean, we've been dealing with the charity sector for a long time and meeting people, but it's something I've not heard of before.
Yeah. The concept actually came from us working with different partners on the ground, where we're trying to get them to increase the standards of care for the children. In some places, unfortunately, what you have is like in 5 square meters, for example, you'll have 2 kids or 3 kids, and they'll do everything there. They'll be there 24/7. And the point of actually caring for orphans is to take them out of the poverty cycle. So when they're out from care, they're actually independent, and then they can support others. And it's unfortunate that some people have made like a business out of it, where they just lock up the kids in a certain area, take donations and stuff. It's not. It's in certain areas.
Sure.
And we were trying to raise the bar, and we were told, if you think you can do better, go and do it yourself. So for that reason, we thought, let's come up with the best possible facilities for these children, where we can give them tender love, care, and give them and empower them to be something when they grow up.
That's fantastic.
And that's the whole vision behind the village.
What area of India is it in?
It's south of New Delhi, in an area called Sona.
I think I can tell better.
Oh yeah, please, please do. Tell away, sir.
Yeah, if you see, it's in NCR, what we call as National Capital Region. It is Delhi suburb and about 30 kilometers away from the Delhi airport in state of Haryana, particularly a place called Sona, and it is on uphill. So it's a village area, complex around, and we are surrounded by 4 walls. And we have total security system as well, like cameras watching every activity all the time to protect the children from any...
So how old are these children? I mean, what kind of age range are we talking about?
Well, the concept was to have from 0 to 16, because that's what the vulnerable age, and that's what they need the more care and support. And once they grow beyond 16, probably they will have to be in the other section, where we'll be putting more emphasis on education or the training or the skill development. But this age, when you say 0 to 16, I mean, first thing is the food and loving care.
Yeah.
And that's why the individual houses have been created. The very concept was that the children, once they arrive in the village, they should not feel that they are in an orphanage. They'll be living in an individual house,
Yeah.
and they will have every facilities for themselves. And if I can tell you, one room is accommodating only 3 children.
Right, right.
An individual bed for them, attached bathroom for them, and they have a living room, they have study room, they have the dining area, the kitchen, to each individual house. So they will have the independence of cooking there the way they wish. And if I can tell you, the other idea was that probably we should have widows working there in each houses to look after the children. So in a way, this will be 2 projects, the orphans as well as widow support.
Fantastic. Because I was going to ask that, because I'm thinking, we're saying children between 0 to 16. So if you, I mean, I remember when I was a teenager, if you gave me my own place, I'd be running riot. So who's looking after them, and who's, because obviously you need a grown up as well.
Mother will be there in each house,
Yeah.
and to some extent we'll be expecting children to do their own work. Like washing or the cleaning, as we do in our own houses.
Of course.
Yeah.
We talked about this village a little bit earlier. We can take a look at some footage of the village now, and maybe you can describe some of it to us, Brother Saqib, as we take a look at the footage now. Now, there we are. So what's happening? That's obviously, this is the conditions before the orphanage was built. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess this is the conditions that they're living in at present.
At present, yeah.
Before we
So these are the environments you take orphans from.
God, it looks really horrible. I mean, look at this. It's just, you're living in filth, effectively. You know, all your rubbish is thrown around, and you're just living in a tin hut. God, that's really squalid conditions.
It is. Brother, I know you've done a lot of probably fundraising for orphans in need as well before, spending time working with the charity and finding out about, you know, the kind of issues around the world. I mean, how typical is the scene that we just saw?
That scene is very typical.
In India?
In India. I mean, it's unfortunate when children are orphaned, if they do not have any family members, they are dumped on the streets. They have nowhere to go. They are either abducted by thugs or thieves and forced to beg, have limbs amputated, and this is the reality. And
that's right, and obviously these are awful, awful things. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. But this is the kind of environment. Now we're looking at the village. Now this is the kind of environment you put these kids into afterwards to give them. And you were talking about orphans before. Yeah. You were talking about, you know, the typical orphanage, like 5 square meters. I think you said, with 3 kids in there. I mean, this is extraordinary facility.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the site when we were building it. It means there are little pictures of the orphanages being done.
I mean, like I said, it looks very modern, very clean. And it would be I think we were talking about that somebody from the UK went and said it's better than the place I live. Yeah. It looks better. It's
that's
better
true actually. That's true actually. That's the comment I received. And if you see the size of the plot, it is in L shape.
Yeah.
And in English terms, you call it row houses. We have 12 houses in one row and 10 houses in another row. So 22 houses, and each house has the built-up area, if you see, more than 3,000 square feet.
Fantastic.
And it is a duplex.
I mean, I have to say, you know, I do admire this, because when I think of orphanages, the first thing that comes to mind is a very Dickensian type Oliver Twist. You know, living in a very, again, you're taking these kids and kind of reaffirming to them, you're orphans and live like this. But this is great. This is putting them in that kind of safe environment, a modern environment, and saying, you know what, you are as important as everybody else, and you deserve these good conditions.
Get the children out of the poverty cycle, and for us, that's the most important thing. We want to stand out where we can make a difference to these children. You know, in some places, orphans, they're taken in, they're fed for 10, 15 years, they're back on the streets, and it's just, they've just been cared for 10, 15 years. What's the point of feeding a child when you're not empowering a child? You know, empowerment is very important.
Yeah.
At the time of Umar ibn Khattab, radiallahu anhu, when someone came for zakah, Umar ibn Khattab got him an axe and said, cut wood down, now earn yourself a living. He empowered this individual.
Yeah.
In the same way, you know, we need to empower the children. And it's at this opportunity where I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the viewers of Islam Channel. Alhamdulillah, when we had this as a vision, they supported us. They came out and everyone supported us to make this a reality. And alhamdulillah, now this is a reality. And it's all thanks to, you know, the donors of Islam Channel and the team of Islam Channel too. You know, may Allah reward you, God, and accept it from everyone.
Allah reward you guys for all the hard work that you're doing.
Now, Brother Saqib, okay, I can ask you, how long have you been with this, with Orphans in Need India?
Well, more than 11 years.
More than 11 years, mashallah.
Mashallah,
Well, listen,
mashallah.
we have a surprise for you today, Brother Saqib. Okay, in commemoration of all your years of working at Orphans in Need and the work that you've done tirelessly for Orphans in Need India, everybody at Orphans in Need, and echoed by everybody here at Islam Channel, we'd like to present you with this award. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
This is from everybody at Orphans in Need. Brother, maybe you can elaborate.
Just to acknowledge the hard work that you've done and the support you've given over the years.
Actually, it is a collective support. Had we not been supported by the people here, probably we would not have delivered this project. We were doing our best on the ground to have an orphanage which is unique, which has got the best facilities for the children, those who have been already deprived from the life. And the support came here, and the chairman of this organization in England, Mr. Anis Musa, has done a fantastic job. And to be very, very honest, I would like to tell you, when he's talked about this project, I couldn't believe him that we will be delivering this kind of a project, because I had already lived my life and he's too young to compare. But now we see that it is ready,
It's
and
a
it is a
reality.
surprise.
We can
It's
take a look
real-
actually, so we can look inside this orphanage. I mean, this is the kind of impact, the work that you guys and Orphans Need, and of course all the donors have helped create. It's a fantastic state-of-the-art facility. Loads of kids benefiting from it. As many as 350, I think you said before.
Up to
That's
350,
the
yeah.
capacity at the moment.
So that's how many children will, inshallah, benefit from this facility. And of course, all the great things they go on to do. All the everybody who supported the campaign and donated towards it, they get all of that sadaqah jariyah.
Absolutely.
So that's wonderful. It's great work, brother. Congratulations for all the work you've done. I hope you feel, you know, it's just obviously it's just you've given 11 years of your life to this, but from everybody else, it's just a token
Actually,
of their
that
gratitude.
was second inning of my life. I had already retired from my service, so this is the project I started afterwards. And when I was told about it, and I was really thrilled that I should be working for this project, and it happened, and I'm very glad that it has completed.
That it is
Fantastic.
completed through your efforts.
Absolutely.
But the task will continue, but what we need at the moment is a school of our own. Because if we have a school in the neighborhood, certainly it will be a big asset for the organization to send the children to their own school.
Inshallah.
And that is what need at the moment, and we are thinking in those terms. That
No,
we
inshallah.
should be
We
able to
wish
have
you
the school
all the
soon.
best with your future project, inshallah. And all the best for the orphanage, for the orphan village, I should
Orphan
say.
village.
Our viewers love you and support you, but
Alhamdulillah.
if they want to know more about Orphans in Need or just support the causes, where do they go? How to do
Visit
that?
www.orphansinneed.org. Go in the search engine, type in Orphans in Need, and inshallah they can find out more information. We've got many challenges coming. We've got one to Snowdon next week, inshallah. Another international challenge to Mount Tubqa in Morocco.
Excellent.
So you can participate in any way. You just get in touch with us, reach out to us, and we'll carry on, inshallah. And
Fantastic.
together we can make a difference, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you guys
indeed.
all for joining us. Unfortunately, we're out of time. A massive thank you to our guests once again. And of course, thank you all at home for watching.
Indeed. Remember, you can stay with us on Twitter at Islam Channel, #LTL. Plus, don't forget, you can watch your favourite clips again via youtube.com/Islam Channel TV.
Now, Living the Life will, of course, be back next week on Monday. But until then, from all of us here in the studio, from all of our guests, everybody in the house, Assalamu alaikum.